relief for Hawaii residents and $1 billion going to Maui for their relief efforts. Just some of the headlines coming out of this last legislative session.
A historic session indeed. We have House and Senate leadership to answer your questions and ours. Spotlight Now starts now.
You're watching Spotlight Now with Ryan Kalei-Suji and Yunji Denise on Hawaii News Now. Have questions or comments for our guests? Join the conversation in our Facebook live stream. Spotlight Now, where Hawaii comes to talk.
Well, aloha, thanks for tuning in here to Spotlight Now on Hawaii News Now. We have not one, but two guests joining us here this afternoon. Of course, Senate President Ron Kochi, as well as House Speaker Scott Saiki. Thank you both so much for joining us. We want to just start off talking about some of the things that we just briefly touched upon at the top of the broadcast of what many called a very successful legislative session. Speaker, we'll start with you. What are your impressions of how things went this session?
So yeah, I think this was a great session. Although it didn't start off that way because there was a lot of uncertainty in January. We really weren't sure what the state finances were going to look like. We weren't sure what the cost of the Maui recovery was. There are a lot of unanswered questions, but I give a lot of credit to all of our colleagues in the House and the Senate who worked through all those questions, and we were able at the end to produce a solid state budget, provide income tax relief, address affordable housing, and a number of other issues.
Yeah, $1 billion from Maui, $5 billion in tax relief. Senate President, what are your thoughts about how things went?
Exactly what the speaker said. I had anticipated having revenue from the construction activity and insurance proceeds for all of the damage in Maui, and it took a lot longer than anticipated to start having building permits issued. So that gave me cause for great concern about where our revenue picture would be. But fortunately, it wound up being at a place where we could help Maui while not impacting any of the other residents in the state, the services, and in fact, could expand it, and a lot of it is due to the help of our congressional delegation and the amount of federal money that flowed into Maui that created economy, that helped our revenue picture, and then certainly offset what our commitment would have had to be to help the residents of Maui.